What up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Off the Record. And if you drive on America's highways and byways, then sooner or later, you are going to get pulled over, and you could very likely be getting a ticket that could put points on your license. And points could potentially affect your insurance rates, your employment, your credit score, could affect a variety of things, and you don't want them, trust me. That's why we at the Smoking Tire only use Off the Record. If you get pulled over, don't plead guilty. Go to offtherecord.com/TST. That's offtherecord.com/TST, and we will give you 10% off all legal services with Off the Record. Wherever you got that ticket, Off the Record will assign a qualified attorney in their network to fight it for you. And other than submitting the ticket and a little bit of information, you have to do basically nothing. And if they don't get those points off your record, you don't pay. So many people email me about Off the Record and how they have gotten those points off of people's license. And it could be you next. So go to offtherecord.com/TST, 10% off all legal services with Off the Record. All right, on this episode of the podcast, Jonny Lieberman and Tommy Kendall are joining us in studio because we were class winners at Circuit of the Americas this past weekend, and we're here to download the race a bit and talk about it. It's a good time, and we got a very pretty trophy. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's go. What's up? Hi.
Hey
there.
Hey.
Okay. Jonny Lieberman in studio.
Yo.
Tommy Kendall is in studio.
Howdy.
And two apologies. Start up front. I seem to have picked up the racetrack sniffles from being outside
You mean
all
sick
weekend.
or like just worn down?
Worn down, and
Yeah.
like I'm a little sniffly, and
We'll
my
find
voice
out.
sounds like shit.
Yeah. What flavor of
I don't
COVID
have
did you
COVID.
get in Texas?
I don't have COVID. I did
Okay.
take a COVID
Oh,
test
good.
this morning. I do out of precaution. I do not have COVID,
Good.
but
Yep.
I feel a little worn down. And also the other apology is that Tato and Sergio aren't here because they're still in Texas, and I'm not trying to
Right.
do a show about a thing that these guys invited us to without them. But we had to do a show today anyway, and I don't want to talk about anything other than the fact that we went to Texas, rented a race car, and won a race.
Right, home some hardware.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, this was a good time. And of course, all anyone wants to know is whether I went faster or Jonny went faster.
Matt went way faster
I
than
went a
me.
little
Matt
faster.
was way faster
I
than me.
went a little
Yeah.
faster, but
Matt
that's
was-
okay.
Matt
Tommy,
was way
you owe me
faster.
$1,000. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, wait a second.
Yeah, Matt is much faster than I am.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was practice day, and then it turns out like for us, I think Saturday felt like a practice race.
It
actually.
was.
Yeah.
Like dress rehearsal for a Sunday race, maybe, right?
Yeah, and I like how they do it as two separate rounds, because Lemons, it's cumulative, right? The 2 days.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, we got all our mistakes in on Saturday, for sure.
I mean, the difference, because, Tato, again, not here, like, he got out of the car both days in P1. When he got out of the
Yeah.
car, that car was in P1.
Yeah.
The big difference was, and I'm going to fillet you for a second, Matt, if you don't mind. You got out of the car when on the first day at P7.
Yeah.
When you got out of the car, the second day was P2.
Also that.
Yes. So that was the difference, was that you improved radically from day to day.
I listened to the data.
Yes.
No, which is funny because I actually did. I didn't really. I did a little bit.
You did
but
because you didn't fluctuate. You
Yeah.
had no laps that were because your best lap and your best lap on both days was about the same.
Yes.
But your worst lap on Saturday was 5 seconds slower than your worst lap on Sunday.
That's true.
So
My
that's-
misses got better.
The cluster was together.
So that was
there were some lessons, some hard lessons learned over wine and data.
yes. And I wish that video
that was an
guy-
epiphany, was it not?
Well,
Like
dude.
what?
So this. Okay. So all right. So where do we? How do we?
Real
wanna-
quick, here's where
yeah.
we start. Do you remember? Because he doesn't remember. Do you remember when he punched himself in the head 4 times?
No.
Yeah.
Where's Sergio?
I was very frustrated. I was frustrated because I've
Helmet
been taught,
on or
I've been
at dinner?
taught some
He
lies.
went like this really hard.
I didn't do it hard enough to like hurt myself. You know, It was- obviously, unless I don't know, maybe it was permanent. Maybe that's why I was better. But okay, so do we want to tell this chronologically, or do we really just want to talk about Sunday?
You're the boss.
I don't know. I
say
didn't
chronologically.
plan this, huh?
I say chronologically.
Chronologically.
Because I'm curious about practice and all of it. Like, I know
Friday was
all
qualifying
and practice.
but the race we got off to a bad start because our team open throttle. Forgot to put gas in the car.
I feel bad.
Yeah.
The first time we mention these wonderful people,
the best,
and the great job they did that
Amazing.
led to a race win.
Yeah.
The first mention in this show is about a mistake, and that's unfair. I think it's unfair to them. We had a full day of practice. They brought a bunch of BMWs, not just our race car.
6.
They had like an F30 like 320 on good tires and suspension, and I took probably 25 extra laps in it just to lap like press launch, like, was that car free?
Sure.
Yeah, like go.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's exactly what it was like. Because you're like, hey, is that thing available? I can take it out? I'm out of here.
They also had a gutted E92 M3 with like straight pipes on it that I did about 10 laps in until the brakes completely failed. And that thing was a riot. I mean, that thing was like insane.
And that was what we were supposed to be driving.
Right.
So when I raced with these guys, Watkins Glen in 24, and there's a car called Hulk, and that was what we were going to drive. And it's a E92 V8. It's a real bully. It's real fast, real powerful. That car got sick, and so they had we were in a M235i Club Sport, which is great because it's like a factory new for their shit.
Yeah.
It's a very new car.
And also 500 pounds lighter than the M3.
Yeah, down quite a bit of power. But
the M3 was faster in the straight, the black one that I drove. But our car was better in the corners, and our car was faster. Like, overall, our car was faster.
yeah, could turn a faster lap for sure.
So Tato qualified, and unfortunately, Mike Gorman, open throttle, lovely guy. Their whole team. We got assigned this dude Zach to be our what was the term? Crew chief? Is that what Zach's role was?
Yep.
On the radio, organizing the strategy. I don't know, how old is Zach?
24.
24.
Wow.
Zach was 24.
I can find out. Let me text Tato.
Either way, he's a youngin'.
Yeah. I mean,
He's a young man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just so people are clear, Tato is Mateo.
Correct.
Yes, Tato is Mateo Siderman.
Sergio, Tato's dad, was on this show a couple months ago talking about immigration law. It was incredibly insightful, and it's only gotten worse, so we're going to have him back to talk about that. He's our team principal, Sergio, we could say, and Mateo is his son, who's a 21-year-old Super Trofeo driving hot shoe that makes time appear out of air,
Yes.
and is an unbelievably fast fucking racing driver.
Tommy, will you second that?
I would second that, yes.
As a Hall of Fame racing
When I
driver?
told my wife that I was not the fastest in the car, she's like, what?
Yeah.
And by the way, he had you by 3 seconds?
Wait, so what? All right,
Pretty close. Pretty close.
What was Johnny?
The
What
young
was your
person's reaction
best
time.
lap? Guys, got to take a quick break for DeleteMe, sponsoring us today. DeleteMe makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everybody vulnerable, right? So when you sign up for something online, when you get a DoorDash or any kind of thing where you have to put in a credit card, shipping information, right? These companies then sell your data to data brokers who then sell that data to whoever, right? And that's how you get scam text messages, phishing, spam emails, fake phone calls, all that garbage, right? So what you do, you go to DeleteMe. Right? DeleteMe will then go through the internet and find whatever information you want it to look for and remove it from those data broker websites. It's super easy. It takes a few minutes because you sign up and you have to give them a lot of information. You have to literally tell them what to look for. But then once a month, for however long you maintain your account, they'll send you an emailed report of here's what we found, here's how we deleted it, here's what you have to do to delete it, and you can really find a notable reduction in scam text messages and spam emails and fake phone calls, things like that. And today you can take control of your data And keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe. Now at a special discount for our listeners. You can get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/tire and use promo code TIRE at checkout. That's the only way to get 20% off. Go to joindeleteme.com/tire and enter code TIRE at checkout. Joindeleteme.com/tire, code TIRE. And support is coming in hot today from Rula. Because finding a therapist is hard enough, but finding one who actually takes your insurance, that's where most online therapy platforms fall short. Not to mention in-person therapists. Many don't work with insurance at all, which means you're stuck paying the full cost out of pocket or paying for an expensive monthly subscription. I have been in therapy for 20 years. I like my therapist. It was very hard to find my therapist. I don't know what I would do except go to Rula if I had to start over and find a new therapist today. But if your body hurts or something is broken or something's not working in your body, your insurance should be able to take care of that, right? To cover your physical health. But why shouldn't it also cover your mental health? And Rula makes sure that it does, right? They do things differently. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, making the average copay just $15 a session. That's real therapy from licensed professionals at a price that makes sense. And Rula is not just affordable, the experience is tailored around you. Other online therapy platforms might match you with the first available provider, whether or not they're the right fit. Rula considers your goals, preferences, and background to provide you with a curated list of licensed in-network therapists who are actually aligned with what you need because they know that finding the right therapist can make all the difference. So Rula's got no waiting lists and no frustrating back and forth. Rula makes it easy to find a mental health provider, accepting new patients, and appointments are available as soon as tomorrow. Plus, Rula sticks with you throughout your journey, checking in to make sure your care is helping you move forward. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance. Visit rula.com/tire to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them, and please support our show and let them know we sent you. That's rula.com/tire. You deserve mental health care that works with you and not against your budget.
The young person's
what was your
reaction
best
time.
lap? Do you remember?
I have no idea. I didn't even look. I was not having when I was having a bad day on Saturday.
Okay.
I slept. No excuses. I was very slow.
You flew in from Portugal.
I flew in from Portugal. I just never. I just never got the S's. I never got the S's, and I was getting just murdered at the end of the second S. Everybody passed me because I was like, ugh, and then I was just in my own head, and I was very slow.
I didn't mean to harp on it.
No, it's fine.
I think it was like a 45.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, could have been. I didn't even.
I did a 2:35.5 was my best.
Yeah.
And you did a 30. Did you have a 33 or were you in the 34s? I think.
I don't even think I was.
I think he did a 35 flat.
I think 35 flats both days. I think
35
right on the
flat.
never dipped into the 34s.
I remember like a 35.06 or something like that.
And there was like a 04 one day.
Yeah,
so they were both
yeah.
right on dead. And I was pretty sure, obviously you never run a clean lap, right? So you're always, I mean, I used to run lots of clean laps. They're pretty darn close. Here I'm like, I said we got all our mistakes out of the way on Saturday. That's actually not true because I made hundreds of mistakes on Sunday, but they were small.
We gave Tommy the toughest job of driving last both days. So the car was its most worn out. So I mean, I'm sure there's time on the table.
One set of tires for 8 hours
set of
and
tires,
7.
right.
And we took some dumb penalties. Like I got on Saturday, I got a fueling penalty. I didn't have my visors down in the car because I wear glasses, and if I have my visor down and we're sitting there with no airflow, they just fog up.
Yep.
And so I don't know why. This is really annoying. You have to recycle the car, reset turn the radio on, and do the fuel thing. And I couldn't see. And they're like, do the
reset.
There's a 5 or 6 step startup procedure on this car, and to fuel it, you have to turn it off.
Yeah, and so I flipped up my visor to look down and poke buttons, and then and Tato had gotten one earlier I didn't know about. So WRL is rad. They give a lot of warnings before you get a penalty.
Yeah.
But he had already had a warning for that, and they take fueling seriously. So it's one warning, and so we got that, and then You got pushed off track or something a couple times?
No, it was all track limits. But it was funny because we were being told their track limits, and all my experience in practice and so forth was it's a free for all. And so I'm like, when I started my stint, I kind of did it incrementally, using more and more and more. And I'm like,
paved it, right?
And I'm like, I haven't heard any warnings. I haven't heard anything. With 5 minutes to go, they're like, you're out of warnings. And so I'm like, so they are watching. And they were clearly there were still some places they weren't monitoring or judging it.
Yeah.
And some places they were, and I didn't know which was which. And and then the very last one, the overall leaders were coming up on me, and I outbroke myself trying to stay out of the way, and I went off a little wide on exit there. I'm pretty sure that was the one that docked me. So I think with 2 minutes to go, we got a track limit.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the story of the 10-10s Club, or do you not want to tell that story?
Oh, I'm happy to tell that story.
I saw you there. We all saw you there, and I was like, oh, man, I think you won.
Yeah, you won the Macon Challenge.
I was the fastest in the Pro-Am there.
And I just happened to run into you. I was like, oh, man, you smoked everybody. And you go, well, no one's watching the back corners.
When I first got there, so this was last year, and it's on the new 10-10 circuit, but we were running these electric Macons, and so they had these coned gates set up, and so it was kind of like a hybridized, it was like an autocross. So anyone who'd ever driven the track normally was probably going to be mind-effed. So, and there was one area where they had this gate, and then this huge curb, and it was like you could just totally straight line it. And so I'm like, that's what we're doing. And so
this is why you need a kid and a veteran on the team
this
together.
Is racecraft.
And then in the middle, just someone who won't crash and fuck it all up.
Right.
Yeah. That's actually a winning strategy.
Yeah.
Well, and so on that deal, Scott Speed, I said, Speed will figure this out. And so the first, and we got 2 laps of practice, and then it started. So the first round, Speed was quick as I was right behind him. Second round, Speed was quick as I was right behind him. The third one, I think he might have had a penalty, clipped a cone. And also, I told I had a Pro-Am, Rob Coughlin was my teammate. I said, the cones really don't matter. Yeah. This thing accelerates so fast that you just want to get this thing pointed and make hay and then be tidy through this stuff. And so in the final one, I nailed it. I come in, and Jeff Gordon's there with his screen, and he's a part owner there. And so he goes, you got me by 3 1,000s. I said, let me see that. I said, I ran a 27. He goes, oh, my God. You got my 1.03. And so, but then Rob clipped a cone, so we did make it to the finals.
You remember Rob from the Audrain thing. He was the one with that insane Fiat. Yeah. 20-liter Fiat or something he was driving. Some nuts.
He's got awesome cars.
Yeah, but that is good advice, though, because I did a thing years ago with the guys from Roadkill where we were doing a Kia Rio versus all the Roadkill cars. Okay. And we were doing like an autocross. Thing is, no one was paying attention. And they were like killing me in all the cars. I was like, what's happening? Like, I'm Matt, you're faster than me, but I'm not that slow. And finally I looked, and they were just cutting off the last corner completely. And then I did it in Freiberger's Camaro, and I beat him. Yeah. And I was
find the holes.
And then I even said on camera, I'm like, man, I beat you in your own car. And they cut that part out.
Always be the editor in situations like
that. Right.
All right, go back to the barrel.
Okay, but in fairness to both Jonny and Tato with the visor thing, every amateur race I've participated in, someone on the team has gotten a fueling violation for this. It happens all because doing this with your visor down sucks. Yeah, you can't fucking.
Well, and again, my glasses just fog up.
So everyone tries to they crack it a little bit. They try, and I raced my whole stint with my visor up anyway. So.
Yeah, everyone does. But I think the penalties took us from P9 to P11.
I think it was more than that.
No,
I think it was
the first one took us from like 3rd or 4th to 9th, and the second one took us to 11th.
Yeah, because the fueling one was a lap penalty, a whole lap. Track limits was like 30 seconds. Oh, okay. No, the +1 lap, you're out of it, basically. Well, I shouldn't say that. Other cars could fuck up. You could break something, whatever. Yeah. But okay, so that was Saturday, it was not a terrible race, but for 2 fairly small penalties that were like consequential.
This is a good time to say this is what's so cool about this. You get a glimpse into how hard this is. You watch an F1 race, or a high level thing, and everything just works so precisely and so. But the reality is, there's so many people doing so many jobs, and there's so many opportunities. It was easy; everyone would do it, and so it's refreshing. I was having to think harder than I have in a long, long time because everything that used to be just second nature and natural to me was not because I haven't thought about
Tommy
it
said
in
he
over a
hadn't
decade.
driven a caged race car since.
I haven't been in a competitive race since for 11 years, and so I've done a few corporate events, but you're not hustling that way. You're not trying to find the brake zones and those things. So it was
So that's pretty good.
The brain was working.
We should
hard.
also real quick mention that Sergio was sitting right here on the podcast, and we were like, "Hey, we're doing that race in a few months. Who else is driving?" And he's like, "Tommy Kendall," but he hadn't actually.
I hadn't committed yet, and I heard that. I'm like,
funny. Well, now I have.
I guess I can be the a-hole, but
So funny. And in that first race, because Tato ran out of gas during qualifying, he started P13 of 27 cars in our class and brought it to P1.
Yeah.
He did a double. He did 2 hours 40 both days.
But he's very talented, that young man.
Yeah, he's young and full of all the energy and very, very fast.
And into it. Like he really
yeah.
has decided this is his life's focus.
yeah, it was inspiring to see because he literally that's all he thinks about all day, every day,
Yes.
all day, every day. Not most of the time. Doesn't have a girlfriend that I'm aware of. It's 24, and he is the most delightful kid. I went to Italy and watched him compete in the World Finals, and even when things didn't go well, always a smile on his face, always upbeat, always, firing people up and so forth. So really, that the parenting
Sunday when it did go well.
yeah, parenting A+ to Lolo and Sergio.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he put on an amazing job. And then Saturday, not terrible. I mean, finished mid pack. Didn't fucking DFL, didn't crash or break the car, not so bad,
Yeah. And then we had an 8-course dinner.
Chef Sergio hooking up the chef at the house, the Argentinian chef.
Reminds me of my
Killer.
grassroots racing days.
Right.
You had an Horatio in Charlotte.
We were pitted next to my old teammate and coach Kevin Madsen, who's working with what are they called, Rapscallion?
Stack racing and
They were driving
those
these
weird
Ligier
Mustang-y things.
Ligier GT cars, which are these racing only, non-production based sort of tube framey things that
Track
look
cars.
a little awkward but go pretty fast.
Yeah, they look like weird Mustangs.
But they had a fucking massage table, bro, is what I was trying to say. I love Kevin, and the cars are cool, but these guys had a massage table and had massages going. That was some shit, dude.
I borrowed some coffee creamer from their motor coach.
Yeah. There's a couple
Came out of a cow that they had in the coach.
Yes.
There was a couple teams that I would feel comfortable openly stealing from. Honestly.
Sure. Yeah. We should also mention Jim Farley
I
was
stole
there
Jim
racing.
Farley's paint marker.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
instance.
Farley was there.
Yeah, we saw Jim. He was racing a Mustang
With Mark Rushbrook as well.
Yeah. And we saw Johnny and I saw what appeared to be an engineering mule of a C8 Corvette that has a round steering wheel. Got to take one more break, folks, because TrueWerk is supporting us this week. Fall weather is coming in cold, but sometimes hot, but sometimes wet, sometimes also windy. Like at Coda this weekend, it was all of those things on the same day. And TrueWerk is performance workwear built like it matters, because it does. Founded by trade professionals who are tired of wet, heavy gear weighing them down, TrueWerk set out to make workwear that keeps pros comfortable, capable, and ready for whatever the day throws at them. Designed with advanced performance fabrics for lasting comfort, all-day mobility, and year-round job site protection. And every piece is tested on job sites with trade pros, so when conditions change, you're still ready. Now, this ad is really targeted towards trades professionals, but the fact is, Zach and I have been wearing this TrueWerk stuff, and we are not really trades professionals. We're like outdoor people, and Zach's been wearing the jacket. Seems to be enjoying it very much. He's nodding his head over there. I've been wearing some of their pants, which I wore when we went on our hike in Utah. I wear them when I'm out doing outdoor stuff. I was wearing them at the track this past weekend, and they are light. They keep me both out of the wind, but also warm and cool. It's pretty awesome. Great for if you're outside all day. And you can upgrade your day with workwear built like it matters. Get 15% off your first order at TrueWerk.com, code TIRE. That's TRUEWERK.com, code TIRE at checkout. 15% off your first order. TrueWerk.com, code TIRE. And we are brought to you today by Quince. Dude, Quince is coming in hot, warm, soft. It's really delight. I'm talking about Mongolian cashmere sweaters. I'm talking about Italian wool coats. Quince pieces are crafted from premium materials and built to hold up without the luxury markup, making the essentials every guy needs. Quince has the Mongolian cashmere sweaters starting at just $50. I got this sweater. In fairness, the one I got was like $80, but it was still a super, super soft, well-fitting, and really nice-looking sweater for a very much 1/3 price of what it would be in the designers. Plus, they've got denim and chinos that fit just right. The outerwear lineup is no joke, from down jackets to wool top coats and leather styles built to last. All pieces are made from premium materials, made by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. But by cutting out middlemen and traditional markups, Quince delivers the same quality as luxury brands for a fraction of the price. It's everything you actually want to wear, built to hold up to season after season. Again, the Mongolian cashmere sweater I got, which they say is as low as $50. I think in some colors and sizes it is. I got the double XL, and I got the luxurious Egyptian like gold, and so I think mine was like $80. But it's so soft. I've been wearing it all the time in my house. I don't even want to take it outside. It's like a sit on the couch and be warm kind of thing. And they sent me some really nice button downs for fall, some tartans, some plaids. It is excellent. You can get your wardrobe sorted and your gift list handled at Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/tire for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/tire. Quince.com/tire. Free shipping, 365-day returns. Quince.com/tire. And now back to the program.
Yeah,
And it was
a Cadillac wheel.
Cadillac wheel, but in the airbag cover was a fairly production-looking embossed Stingray airbag cover. Which
So you think the engineers are testing round wheel technology?
I mean, dude, I'm just saying, if they're coming out, if they're decided that they've seen the light, and in fact things that spin should be round.
What do you think they're doing Cadillac supercar under the guise of C8?
No. So Alex, I forget his name. He was former Corvette engineer who's now doing robotic stuff, like not like Tesla robots, but like factory robots at GM. He's moved on to they're using AI to optimize that. But he worked on all the Corvettes up through ZR1. He was there with Sean Bailey, who does Corvette Communications, TC Klein, and Tony Roma, who was the head of Cadillac V, is now the head of Corvette. And that black Corvette, that's going to get a cage and just become a WRL race car. And so there's a round steering wheel and aftermarket seats in it. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying what I saw.
Yeah.
Matt was more excited by that round steering wheel.
It's this kind of car geekdom that I'm learning from.
Tommy, in a street car, sports car, what is the correct shape of the steering wheel to you?
I've only driven round steering wheels, even in race cars. I've never driven a butterfly wheeled car.
Yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we had a regular steering wheel in our race car. It was a delight.
I'm going to do a little aside. It was fun hanging out with the two of you guys in terms of this sort of minutia, but you are so clear on what you like and what you don't like, as are you. And I don't always agree, but I like that, it's yeah. So, but it's pretty good. And race car drivers, I've always said, the best ones are basically the most discerning and AKA best complainers, because you have to be able to perceive what's happening and describe it. One of my weaknesses is I was always good at making good with whatever I had. And so sometimes I would just I can't change this. And then sometimes I wouldn't even remember that it was a complaint. Yeah. And so anyway, so everyone has their different styles, but that's how things get better.
I'm pretty good at talking about what the car is doing when I have a radio. Which I didn't for most of both of my
By the way, we should explain that too. On Saturday, so you're the next driver in, so like get your suit on, and I'm sitting in my suit. Hey, Matt's coming in, put your helmet on, and you put the earplugs in and the sock and the helmet on, and it was hot, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like I'm gonna take my helmet off. No, he's coming in. Dead radio.
My side of this was, the plan was for race 1 was Tato was going to do somewhere between 2.5 and 2:50. The driver limit for any one driver in a race is 3 hours. So you can't have some pro-am where one pro does whatever, right?
8 hours, yeah.
So, excuse me. So Tato does, he's very, very fast and comes in. I go in next, and I'm out for like 25 minutes, and there's like a long full course caution. They're like, come in, we're going to splash you with fuel. Fine. I do. I go back out. Then my radio completely dies. So we're each supposed to drive 90 minutes. Tato does his long one, and then each of the three of us do 90 minutes.
And that's an 8-hour race.
And that's the 8-hour race. But because they've filled me up, and because I'm not like watching the clock, but like, got a couple gallons left, and like I don't have this radio, and like I'm not seeing like a pit board come out, so I'm like, okay, I guess when I'm out of gas, I will come in, and it never really comes, and then after like
they ran out with a pit board, and they literally put it out as you passed.
Well, there's a lot of green open throttle cars, and a TC Klein car that's the same color green.
Yeah, right. So. It was hard to see which green car from far away, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up doing a little longer than I was supposed to. And it
changed nothing. It was fine.
It changed nothing, but I had radio issues the next day as well. And I figured out, like, I had radio issues, so I'm like messing with my cable on the back straights, which is, fortunately, they're very long, so you actually have a few minutes to think about that. And then Zach's radio at the other end started dying.
His battery went out.
His battery started, so it was like, oh my God. So,
which would almost cost the race in a way. We'll get to that, but yeah.
More insights into all the little things that happen, and you never know about even if you're at a race that you have to manage and deal with, have contingencies, think on the fly on what do I do. So
team sport.
And then one more thing before we get to Sunday was Tato heroically fought for data to get the data from Open Throttle.
Yes.
Got the data and like really sat there and was really coaching the three of us, me, Matt, and Tommy, on like pedal position and braking points, and he really takes it seriously. Didn't have any wine. We had these lovely bottles of wine.
Yeah, I had none. He also, and I have to say, maybe you drove it different, or maybe you drove it different. I drove his exact recommended line around the track.
Yeah.
Which is slightly different than what my natural body might have wanted to do. And I noticed that nobody else took this line, which, especially coming out of the S's, hugging that road all the way to the left, deep and going up, nobody else but me, when I was out there, took that way. And that is where I could go from 200 feet from behind the car to 50. It was right there in that section by taking his way. And Tato, every single lap.
Yes.
And
I
Tato
could confidently go, I'm going to set up this guy coming out of this corner, because that gap is like, it closes every lap. It's crazy.
And so it's funny, like when I walk-ins, we're doing the data overlays, and MJ, who was coaching us then, Michael Ryan Johnson, he was like showing me what Klaus was doing, what he was doing. Then he gets to Tato's line. He's like, just forget that. He's like, that's something else. Only he does that. So
well, and this is developed. Tato had never been to COTA before, and he's been running on the sim for weeks, and trying different cars because the exact car isn't available, to trying to match up with it. Would it feel like grip-wise and power?
Yeah,
and this,
we'd show up, remember? Sorry to cut you off, but we'd show up, and he's like, okay, we have an M4 DTM. This is like Hulk. Yeah. Okay. Next week we show up, okay, now we have a Mustang.
Yeah. This is closer.
I told my horror story on last week's episode about how frustrated I got in the sim.
Oh, yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. It was not great.
Yeah.
But he was studying it very intently. And so Sunday, we could go jump ahead to Sunday. Starting order was determined by best lap of previous day. So we start P7. And I have the video. I'd love to
I can text it to Zach
Can you
right
text
now.
it? How do you get the video?
Airdrop it to 2019 MacBook.
Let me find
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Tato starts in P7, and by turn 1 is P3. Okay, he did an unbelievable
Rolling start or standing start?
rolling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, first of all, he must have come off that corner so perfect because he accelerated past these faster cars.
Yeah.
Like, it's
So he just timed
He
the
executed
green.
a perfect start.
Yeah.
And
Verstappen style.
The car to beat in our class is an E46 M3 with an LS motor in it that consistently ran 2 to 3 seconds a lap faster than Tato. Or any of us.
Anybody.
Like all their drivers
Yeah.
were like as fast as us, and their car was 2 seconds a lap faster.
Their fastest lap. So the fast lap from the day before. So even Tato, as quick as he is, we were the 7th fastest
Yeah.
car, basically.
Yeah.
And so he made it happen with that.
So he I mean, it was an unbelievable bit of driving because we did not have a horsepower car. And on the street,
270 horsepower.
yeah. And this other car, this M3, was apparently a class higher last year and was just slightly detuned to run it on.
Yeah,
class.
it's an LS motor.
It might need to be detuned a little more. We got some. This is from Sentinel, and actually, I'm talking to the Sentinel guy
Yes.
later this week about
So am I,
maybe
yeah.
doing something with him for funsies. So that we were actually able to get live stream video from the car, which is cool because
Sick.
Yeah, because Zach could, a coach could like Tato could get on the radio and go, "Hey, take this curb wider," like real time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's allowed.
And then
So,
we're this is heading into turn 20, so this is the final left before the main straight.
final corner before the start, and pretty good quality video actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
and
be
then-
able to stream that?
And then this
So
this
that
tower on the left
that
is
M3 in
green.
the way front with the big wing is really the car to beat.
So they get green
Screaming
right
goat,
here.
it's called.
So here's green. Dude, watch Tato's move up the left side right here. Watch this. Just wide open in the left.
Sure.
Don't go.
Right across the blend line.
Fucking
right?
and then perfect
Wow.
braking right here, dude. And then look how quick he comes off too. He doesn't give up position. Oh, the clip ends, but like
Yeah.
Momentarily second.
sick, right?
Yeah, that's rad.
And again, from P7, it's pretty good. In a 270 horsepower car, it's pretty
Well, a
good.
car that's supposed to have the same power to weight as all the other cars.
Wow.
In theory. I mean, in theory.
the
But,
one in the front had better power to weight.
yeah, it did.
You can't win the race in turn 1, but you can dramatically improve your position.
Well, and then I guess it was was it the first day where there was a huge crash in turn?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the,
two,
and
two.
the first day there was a
It was
huge
it was in
crash in
three.
turn
It was-
2
it-
and
it-
3
yeah.
that took out a bunch of cars.
And that was
Tato,
good.
whoop, whoop, threw it.
No, that was
The
good
clip
because
is
Tato
sick.
did the same move day one, and if he'd just held his position, he would have been wiped out in that mob. But he got in front of it,
So-
and there was a car spinning behind him.
The videos that we got, he's making a highlight reel. The video is
Yeah.
crazy. So he goes from P7 to P3 in the first 10 seconds, holds position, works his way to P2. Actually, we make the pass to P2 while the other car was in the pits. That V8 car was thirsty. So he goes to P2 while the other car's in the pits. I get the car in P2. Tato does 2 hours and 40 minutes. I get the car in P2.
No, you got in P1 because
The other car pitted.
Because the
The
other
other
car
car
pitted?
pitted, yeah.
They
The
both
car-
pitted?
They both
Okay.
pitted.
the other car came into the garage. That was the P2
Okay, so
car
I got in P1.
eliminated. Yeah,
But I went out and I did a double. I did a full second tank. I did 2 hours and 44 minutes in the car, which is the longest I've ever
That's
driven a race car
exhausting,
for
yeah.
consecutively. It was so much fun. I had the best time. And I held the position. Like, I didn't give up any positions.
Not
I
one,
came in and gave, and Johnny.
Well, here, let me, so I'm sitting there, like, I was slow, and Tato again got to P1, and it was like I didn't know on Saturday I didn't know how slow it was going to be, so I went up to Tommy and I'm like, hey, and the other thing is I knew Zach and Open Throttle, they had a really miserable year. They hadn't won anything, they hadn't got any podium, not a podium, and it's there's a lot of races.
That was out of normal for them.
That was
very
very
normal
unusual.
for them,
Yeah. So I went to Tommy and I'm like, hey, because we're an hour shorter, and I'm like, I'm doing the math. I'm like, if Tato's like, P1 and Matt does what he does yesterday, and you get in the car and do, we could get on the podium. We could be P3, like, I don't need to drive. And Tommy's like, no, we're here to have fun doing that. And then I walked up to Matt and I'm like, and you said the same thing. You're like, no, dude, we're just going to have some fun. But then Zach, the crew chief, was like thinking, shit, we could be P1, So him and Tato pulled me aside. They're like, listen. And before they even pitched, I'm like, totally. Like if Matt does what he does, improves a little bit, he can hold P1, P2. And and I didn't need to drive. And I years ago on the C63 Black Series launch, I learned you don't get any more money for being the fastest journalist. There's no real, so
you don't.
Yeah, and
So did you not drive on Sunday?
I didn't drive on Sunday.
Oh,
No,
okay.
he very graciously gave up his seat so that I could do a double and keep the car in position.
So
which I didn't know about because I had no fucking radio.
He was in the car, yeah.
I came into the pits, I undid my harnesses, and they just go, no, you're staying. I go, what? He goes, you're staying. And I'm just like, okay.
I was there and I was in my suit, but they didn't say anything to me. Then I said, he unbuckled. So I jump up. I don't have my helmet on. And they go and they're put stuff in the back in there.
And
Fortunately, taking
accidentally,
fuel was like 3.5 minutes, so you have time to calmly put your shit.
Some, but not a lot.
but accidentally, it turned out like let's say I was as fast as Matt. Another driver's change we'll get to it. It would have cost us P1. So
I did. I had a hilarious fuck up though.
Yeah,
which I will admit publicly. I'm lapping, and I'm in an area. There's a full course caution, but very frequently during full course cautions, you find yourself not where the pace car is. It's fucking huge, and so you find yourself going full speed.
Yeah.
You're still going full speed. And if anyone's listening to this,
you're supposed to go 85%,
and you weren't going basically full speed. Listen in the driver's meeting, please. Okay. Not full speed.
You're supposed to go 85%.
But speed. Yeah. You're going fast,
Yeah.
okay? So I'm coming around the last corner of the track before the pit entrance. It's turn 19. The pit entrance is there, okay? And I'm following a white Cayman that's in our class. The corner worker pulls, as I come around the corner, I see them pull out and wave a white flag. As soon as that happens, the Cayman just dives across the track and into the pits. Last minute maneuver into the pits. And I was like, I have about a half a second to have the following thought happen in my head. Usually white flags mean the race is one lap from being over.
Yeah.
I wonder what that flag means today. and then I go, if I don't go into the pit right now and it means to go into the pit, I'm going to get a penalty, and we're out of the race. I'm in P2. We're going to be out of the race. If I do go into the pit and it means nothing, I'm going to feel pretty stupid, and then we're going to lose 15, 20 seconds, but we won't get a penalty.
Yeah.
So I have that whole thought in between turn 19 exit at full fucking beans and the entrance to the pit.
Which is 150 feet.
It's not far. I dive into the pit behind the Cayman. I have a radio. If I was anywhere else in the track, if I was 200 yards further back, I would have had the answer I needed to what that flag meant.
Sure.
But I didn't, so I drove through the pits.
And a white flag means debris on track.
No,
it means
it
safety
means
vehicle.
slow-moving
Safety
vehicle on track.
Yeah.
There was a wrecker circulating on track, which, see?
Yeah. I thought it was debris.
So, okay. Sorry, guys.
For clarity, debris is the orange and yellow.
Debris is the orange and yellow, yeah. So, I'm on the radio, sorry, guys, that's a fucking bonehead move. I picked the lesser of two bonehead evils. Okay, no problem. It costs 15 to 20 seconds. This will come into play.
Yeah.
This will come into play. So I finished my stint, and honestly, I did pretty good.
Yeah,
I did.
You did really good.
Pretty good.
And P2, I think you got out of the car. P2.
Yeah, I ran very consistently. I did.
But what was happening towards the end of your stint, which determined why you went the full double, is I was sitting with Zach and saying, "Hey, we're getting close to being able to skip. If we stretch this, can we skip a fuel stop?" Because we weren't going to beat the Screaming Goat on speed.
Yeah.
And so I said, can we figure out, because they were using fuel, they were going to have to make 3 more at that point. I said, can we do it on 2 more?
Yeah.
Or 1 more.
Our car does 5
stop.
miles per gallon.
Yeah. And so...
Which is way better than the LS engine car.
So that's what we were going on. So that's why you went longer. And
Yeah.
when I got in the car, they said... And he says, we're gonna go 2 hours. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, we'll get some yellow.
It was an hour 45. You got in there, it was an hour 45.
Yeah. And he said, we can go the whole, they're saying, we're good to go to the end. And I'm thinking, I said, And so we've got a fuel counter. And so we're going. And then, and they're asking for fuel readings. And I'm pretty sure I'm like, and then there was a caution. And I wasn't as plugged in as I should have been and it took almost 2.5 laps to catch the pace car for the thing it's a long
you
lap.
You were expecting it to be chill, but really you were
humming, but not humming enough because there was a car that was holding a bunch of us up, and if we could have caught the tail end, that would have made the whole. If we would have done our splash that we eventually found out we had to do, if we would have done our splash then, it would have been a cakewalk.
This other car did have to pit, but Tommy did also for a quick 5-gallon splash.
Yes.
So both cars are out at the end.
But they got trapped. The key was they got trapped on that yellow.
Yeah.
Depending on where the overall leader is, they can split classes. And so he got trapped. I was leading now after their stop. He was behind the overall leader and the yellow came out. So he didn't get to go all the way around and catch up to the back of me, and he raced the big gap.
By the way, for 2 days straight, all Tommy did was talk about yellow flag strategy.
This dude knows
he's a chess player.
He has decided so many races. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, this is literally right.
Yeah.
We spent 2 days talking about
because I said,
winning on
do they
flags.
do wave arounds, and so because that changes if you wave around and so forth. And more people understand it now, but back in the day, not everyone did, and you can really the race. So, and then the next piece is now I'm leading. The race goes green, and so I've got better part of a lap, but now it becomes apparent we're going to actually have to make a splash too.
Yeah.
And so we make this splash. And
we were like 2 minutes, 40 seconds up.
Yeah.
And Tommy has to come in for fuel and has like 12 laps left in the race.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets back out. I think it was like there's 58 seconds gap.
I remember that
number.
very clearly.
Yeah.
When you went out, it was 58 seconds.
Yeah.
And there was like 10 laps left or 8 laps left, and the other car's 4 seconds a lap faster than us.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So we're just sitting there doing math. I mean, it was me and Sergio and Tato were like on the calculators. Like,
Dude, it was a fucking. This car is like humming. You know, Tommy's doing what he can do, but this other car is like just faster.
Yeah, it's a 400 horsepower.
But I
car.
also was not. So what? One of the things I did, I said, I need the information. I need to know the split. And I need to know minutes left the whole time. And they were giving me the split, but they weren't giving me minutes left. And I still thought we were good. But because of the track limits thing yesterday, I wasn't running flat.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know if we have any warnings. I said I have to be super clean. So I said, if you tell me, I said I can give the time back. You don't get extra points by winning by more.
Sure.
And so and then. When I restarted that thing, I was in the middle of a total shit fight for about 5 laps, just chaos, and so those laps.
The restarts are wild. Some of these restarts are
so giving back bigger chunks of time there.
It's
but
not 4 seconds a lap now.
And I always did this when I raced. I asked for all the information so that I could.
Right. Don't hide it.
You can't judge risk reward if you don't know the full picture.
Sure.
And so it was more dramatic for you guys. I knew what was going on. I knew that the math was going to work.
Yeah.
And real quick, the restarts, because there's this GPU class, which are these like prototype.
It's like a
things.
F4 car with a body.
Elan prototypes. They handle amazing, but they have no horsepower, so they actually can't pass you on the straight.
But their lap time overall is shorter.
But they can also jump. Like if you're if your wheels turned at all, they just jump you.
Yeah.
And so on the restarts, you'll get like 4 of them coming across your bow. It's wild.
Because when they start the race, they start it in class order, but in a restart, you're all mixed up.
Yeah.
So like. Fucking mayhem happens on a restart. It's really, really hairy out
I love
there.
it. It's
I
great.
mean, it's a wild time.
I've only done the Lemons version, but that's wild too.
My
and
my first go lap after my last restart was mayhem. I passed somebody in the S's, which was one of my goals to try to do that, and I actually was able to do it. And I was like, in my helmet, I was like, motherfucking yeah!
I'm glad you didn't tell me that was one of your goals, because I would have said that's a bad bad risk.
It wasn't bad. No, I wasn't gonna do it. It was just one of those, I hope I'm able to say I did this. Yeah. But no, I mean, and Tommy brought it home, and we won by 9.8 seconds, that's when I was like, that drive-through.
Yeah. Oh, right.
That would have added a nice buffer.
But again, another driver's change at minimum 45 seconds, and we weren't even that quick. So and plus you had to cycle the car and all that.
Yeah.
If we had had everything on, we could have done a stop, and then on that, if we'd done the splash, it probably was the only way we were going to do it was this way, was skipping that. But if we had done the splash under that last yellow and put you in, you would have then had 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And
but
then,
it might have got caught. So look, it was P1.
It was a nail. I mean, Johnny valiantly, gave up his seat to be. We had a shot at winning the race, which was.
Let's go past.
A move. That's a fucking bro move right there.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That's a
team player.
Look at this
for
picture
real.
though. So confirm Zach is 24. That's Zach. Look how he's talking. I've never seen more of grown men crying.
Dude, he kept it inside until the race was over, and then he was like, dude, I just called a winning race that Tommy Kendall was driving.
I said, come here. I'm like, you came up with the winning race strategy with Tommy Kendall in the car, and he was just was shaking, and it was just awesome.
And even, dude, after the race, when we were drinking beers in the parking lot, he all of a sudden put it together that I was the guy in the Super Speeders first to get a ticket video. He's like, I can't believe you didn't say that was a reasonable place to pass at the time. I was like, motherfucker's quoting me back from 07.
He was 9 years old.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly.
I was not a role model.
Well, that emotion, though, I mean, everyone that has raced knows how hard it is, and I mean, it's just like you're just maxed out.
Yeah.
Whatever level you're at, you're maxed out, and so you have way more bad days than you have good days.
Sure,
and so that's that was cool to see. A real cool thing for me over the weekend, seeing people, those two officials, Randy Buck and Jim Davis, are guys I've known for 30 years. And so all these people that I've mixed with, I get a Instagram DM on the morning from a guy who says, hey, here's a picture. It's me with this little kid. He says, that 10-year-old is now crewing on the 99 car.
Oh, cool.
And so I went and found him and got another picture of me and Ben Riley.
Yeah.
And so all these, the grassroots is your peeps, because you built it from and that's what this was all about. All these people that love this, because no one's really making money there. There's a few people, and it's
the massage therapist is making $2.25 an hour. That's about it.
Chef Horatio cleaned up.
So it was really neat to get reconnected with that. And there was a guy in the garage next to us, Matt Guyver, that was on Setup, the Setup show that I did, those Pontiac Solstices.
Shit, yeah,
there were two guys in the race from that Setup show.
Way.
So just getting reconnected with all these people and realizing everyone's on their own paths and doing it.
My favorite moment, well, besides the hug, my favorite moment was, you said the last time you won a race, if I have this correct, was December of 2004. And Tato was born in March of 2004.
Yeah, it was actually September 11th, 2004. The last Trans Am race I did in a full TA car, driving for Rocket Sports in the Jag. It was the finale, and I was trying. We'd had some mechanicals early in the year, and so I needed to max points, and Gentilozzi needed to finish worse than fifth, and I maxed points, pole, lap, sled, fastest lap, and all that, and I win. And he finished fifth, and we tied, and he won the tiebreaker for the title. So that was my last win, was 2001.
What a treat.
Yeah.
2001?
2001.
September 11th, 2001?
2001, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And so, I mean, it was 11 years since I really raced anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't win in the Viper 2001.
Right. Sorry. So Tato's, okay.
Yeah.
Wait. So, Tato
had just been born.
No, because 2001 was 24 years ago. He's 21. We got that wrong.
Oh, no, 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
Mine was 2004.
September 11th, 2001.
Yeah, something else happened.
2004.
It might have been overshadowed by something. I don't know. Oh, wow. That's very much not a Jaguar, is it?
Yeah.
That looks just like all Jaguars on the showroom floor. Look.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it was
I used to have myself convinced back in the day that the cars we raced looked just like what they were supposed to.
Yeah, they printed
Same
the
headlights.
same headlights.
Yeah. Well, this time it did. This time it definitely did. But man,
So was Tato giving you, Tommy, data on Saturday night?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
100%.
Was he like, Mr. Kendall, I think you should brake? Like, was he,
No, it was wild for me to watch it because I'm sitting there like, what other 21-year-old, like literally like no compunction at all, and he instantly starts with, all right, Tommy, so what we're doing here in this turn is this.
Here's what I want to see. Here's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I like that. I like this here.
Yeah.
And then there was one point, and he's like, he says, there's these little bounces in the throttle trace and the hairpin. He says, I'm confused by this. And I said, let me explain to you what that is. I said, with my foot injuries, I said, I can't rest my heels on the floor and pivot and use the throttle and the brake. So I said, I'm hanging my right foot in the air working the throttle. I'm hanging my right foot in the air working the brake.
Which is insane.
Can you imagine doing that for 90 minutes? That's
No.
the craziest shit I ever heard.
And so I said, that's actually my foot bouncing on tapping the throttle as I'm trying to trail it in.
If you were driving like a Formula car where you're more like laid down, would that be easier on you or harder?
No, what I do in a car that I'm going to drive, I build basically like, because most people, your heel is resting and then you go forward and your foot gets lower and the gas pedal gets lower with it because of the way it pivots. I build a ramp because my foot slides, so the ball of my foot doesn't get any lower. So I build a ramp that's sloping away from me and I slide on that ramp so my foot can be supported.
Now you're not holding your leg up the whole time. You're just pressing for. Okay.
So
Interesting.
my like thinking about the weekend, there's time there for me. There's probably, in terms of getting to where I'm super confident I'll be able to shift the weight exactly like I want, and like in turn 19, that's really important how you float the car in there. There's probably
I'm not sure I ever did that one perfect.
no,
I'm not sure I ever did it perfect.
It's so big.
That's a tough one.
It's really tough. I mean, so that's the kind of thing where there's definitely time there. And again, I was making sure, especially after the penalty Saturday and so forth, operating on the right side of the risk curve. And so that's what that was. And Tinder's like, oh.
So is having all this data, did you guys have this back when you were racing, or a version?
We had pretty close, you know. There was, so I was the very, when I first started, we did. And then that came in the late 80s and early 90s. So we had most of this stuff. There's more sensors now and better sensors. Bill Mitchell was a guy. He was a journalist, but he was really a tech guy. And so he was our data guy. And I always tell people, one of the key things on a race weekend, when you see what's happening in Formula One in terms of process, everyone's constrained on time. So a lot of things you just don't do between sessions because you don't have time. One of our secrets is we had everything refined so well. You get the data out of the car, you get it up in a useful form because there's so much data. How do you view it, and how can you pull out the areas you need to focus on, and for maximizing gear ratios and so forth. And so Bill would come up with all these different ways to sort of display the data to us based on what and some of it was like, yeah, that's not useful, cool, but not useful. And then because on the sessions, you got to get it out, you got to understand it, you got to understand what's actionable, then you got to they'd come to us and say, gearbox is out, we need the info. We're like, we don't have it yet. And so, and you've only got 2 hours for the session. And so every piece of the equation, there's a real iteration. You hear that in the tech world now. The speed of iteration is really useful. And some people just can't do it. Like on this weekend, I wasn't that plugged in, but you don't have the time to say, hey, this is an issue, can you fix it? I wouldn't even bring it up because it's just like, if we can get the thing, just everything bolted together, people seat time, that's going to be the maximum importance. But so that was a little geeked out
when you were talking about with Bill Mitchell and that type of data, it was more about building a faster car than making you faster than something else. Or
almost all of it was I rarely had a super fast teammate that I could. A couple times I did. When I was teaming with Wayne Taylor in the GTP car, I did. And so there it was useful. But mostly it was about a faster car.
Yeah. All I've ever used it for is to compare myself to a faster person.
Right.
It's been incredibly useful every single time.
Yeah,
every single time.
yeah.
And way more useful to me than video. Tato tried. We didn't have data on practice day. Like, they had just bought this car and the track wasn't loaded. Whatever the fuck, who cares? But
SIM card or
but we
SD
didn't
card.
have we didn't have the data the practice day. So that's why I say like Saturday was a practice race because we actually had data after that race. But he was trying to do it on video, and you know I did his line, and he just like went faster at all of it, and I'm like, well, it's clearly not where I'm putting the car. Like, just show me throttle and brake pressure. And like once I saw throttle and brake pressure, it was like, oh,
Yeah. Could they overlay like
You had a
know,
revelation though. At the dinner table.
the pounding on my head thing.
It was wild though because Tato's just like, I start braking here and I hold it for 2 corners, and that's like what?
So that was crazy. When you go to racing schools and learn from a lot of people, and when you're racing slow cars, when you're racing
power, super low
Miatas and
power.
E30s, whatever, they're just like you're either full brake or full throttle. Like that's what you are. Like there's no coasting, there's no maintenance throttle. Those are bullshit. That's not fucking. You're not racing. I've heard that over and over and over. And in Saturday race. And I'm getting like, opposite lock wheel spin out of every corner.
Tight corner.
Yeah, every hairpin.
Confirmed. I was doing a lot of that too.
Yeah, and Tato's corner exit speed was much better than mine, and his throttle pressure his curve is like way different, and he's also doing like multiple places in the track he's literally coasting. And multiple places in the track, he's dragging like a 30% brake pedal for like 2 seconds.
Or a 5% brake pedal.
Yeah,
it's
While
crazy.
on throttle at all, like
No.
rally style, or just
No,
just
no,
dragging
no,
the ring
no,
to keep
no.
the front. Wow.
Just to tuck the front, just a little bit of
Pin
weight.
the front end, yeah.
But for like 2 seconds.
Wow.
And
Like
so,
he, for instance, at Coda, there's 2 S's in a row, and at the entrance to the first S, he goes like, it was like 2 or 3% brake, and he holds that out of the second S. It never lifts.
Yeah.
And everyone else, you see their arcs through the S's start getting wider and wider. His just gets narrower and narrower, and he's crushing people.
yeah. I mean, and also just his going into turn 1 up the hill. I hit the brakes harder and later than he did, and he had better exit speed from the corner. Exit speed.
Because
So
he's
that's-
braking less, yeah.
I mean, but yeah.
One of the big epiphanies was so when he was releasing the brake, he was immediately given a jab of throttle because he's thinking, you don't want to coast.
Matt was or Tato was?
I was.
Matt
I
was.
was going from brake back to gas real fast.
And he would get a spike, and that's when he was getting loose. He'd gather it up, and you'd say, Tato is going to the gas later than you.
Yes.
But when he goes to the gas, he gets after it much more aggressively and never
Right.
pulls out.
He doesn't trail on. He's just like he rolls into it much
He's
quicker.
he's basically letting the car set and rotate a little more, which you do, especially in a
yeah.
heavy car and the longer the corner. And so I told Matt, I said, there's one of the fallacies. Everybody says whoever gets on the throttle first onto the straightaways is the fastest. I'm like, no, that's not true. It's whoever gets to full throttle the first onto the straightaways is the fastest, because getting to the throttle first is the enemy sometimes of getting to full throttle.
Sure.
And
If you're
yeah,
not,
good point.
yeah.
And that strategy, like, actually really did make things a lot better. Like, it didn't make my fastest lap any faster, but the difference for me between my best was 2:35.5. My most was like 2:37.2 was like my most meet. The difference between 2:37.2 and 2:41 is wheel spin out of the 2 hairpins.
Yeah.
That's literally the only difference if everything else is the same.
Did it also make other parts of the track just feel more stable, planted, etc.?
It made it a lot easier to set that pass I talked about with the Tato line up the red. That pass is complete coming out of the hairpin of 11, passing with better exit speed onto the front straight. That's where that setup ends. Yep.
It's
did
just
it 3 times.
less dramatic.
Dude, the problem is it feels slow.
Yep.
It actually feels fucking slow.
I joke with people. I said it almost doesn't feel fair that it's less dramatic, it's not as hard, and it's faster.
Yeah. 11 in this photo, Zach, is the one at the top right corner. So that, is the exit speed from there, which starts back at the up to the left. Starts there.
So
that's
8.
where that starts. The setup for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the data was fucking right. and his interpretation of it and Tom's
Now
interpretation
video
was
is new. We had no video, so the video, connecting the video, because we used to only look at squiggly lines. And so, for beginners, that wasn't that useful. And I remember having teammates, and I was usually the fast guy, and so I wasn't in a hurry to help them figure it out, And so, whereas I'd look at, sometimes I'd be faster in 9 corners, they'd be faster in 2, and I'd be like, I need to figure those 2 out. And I was pretty good at looking at it, and they'd be looking, and they weren't quite as good as figuring the other part out.
Yeah.
And so, and video helps a lot.
Yeah, especially if you can click on the line and it pulls up the video right there.
To that end, I used to, when I was driving, I wouldn't let people follow me because that's the best learning tool is to follow fast guys.
Right, yeah.
And so once the race starts, but on all through the weekend, I would always stay separate on the track. And like some guys like Gentilozzi used to always try to follow me. And he'd go out with me and I'd just pull in the pits and sit. And Binks said, what are you doing? I said, I'll sit here all day. I said, I don't need any more practice. And then eventually he'd go back out and I'd tail him back out. And it used to drive him nuts because I'm like, I'm not showing, because they'd be even in probably 8 corners, and there's your edges are in a couple key spots, and I don't want him to be able to figure, because he probably, like you think it's in the places you're really beating your brains out, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And once the light goes on, it's like,
Yeah.
And so
driving schools use lead follow as a coaching technique, so you don't want to be doing lead follow with your competitor and showing him where to go.
Nope.
Yeah, and getting your exit out of the last corner 20 onto the front straight. It's
Huge.
just a 90-degree, easy-looking corner.
It's not easy.
For some reason, it's just not easy.
But that was one, too, where, it was surprising Tato didn't get a penalty there because he was so wide. And you'd watch the video, everybody else is, maybe on the curbing. He's almost over the white.
On the entrance.
On the exit.
On the exit and the entrance.
I think they only cared about that there if you used it to make a pass on somebody or did something like that.
Well, I'm convinced they didn't care about turn 1. I think turn 1, do whatever you
certainly
want.
not in the first corner of the,
yeah,
race.
yeah.
They were fucking 6 wide across that thing.
Yeah.
Well, that made it hard to try to game track limits. You're like, okay, they're not enforcing it everywhere, but they are enforcing it someplace.
Well,
they
it's
didn't tell you
doing
exactly where it
sound
was.
Limits. You can be loud as you want on the corkscrew.
Right. So, just stay away from 5 and 6. Yeah.
Right. But fuck, I mean, it was such a good time. I mean, the team was super stoked to have finished the year with a win. And this car, it's a factory race car, but I think it's a stock engine, just with cooling upgrades. It's a ZF 8-speed auto.
It had 10 more horsepower than the Hyundai Veloster.
Yeah, which was very hard to pass. Even you said so.
Yeah.
The fucking Veloster was quick, dude. I got by it, but it was tough.
That Civic SI was tough.
And it just, they said they do oil changes every 50 hours on this car. And 1 set of tires and 1 set of brakes for a whole race. Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Props to BMW, right?
Yeah.
What a very well-rounded car.
That's a pretty good BMW.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. and I think I had the most fun racing the other, because there's a lot of these in our class. I had the most fun racing the other ones because you're like, hey, we're in the same shit here. Can I get by you? How do I get by you with the exact same specs?
Because then it's racing. Yeah,
it's fun. Yeah. It was great. And WRL I mean, you've raced in so many series. I think this was a very welcoming and well-run series.
Welcoming and well-run, well said, because I've been hearing a lot about it from friends saying this is, and as things have gotten more and more expensive, it started with Lemons where it was kind of a jokey series, for fun series, but it just showed how much people are thirsting for good racing that's reasonably affordable, if you can say that in racing, and so WRL is definitely the sweet spot on the value equation, and
they don't have a tyrant. I've been to different races where it's you just get lectured. The drivers' meeting is just a big old lecture.
Yeah, RJ's up there saying, okay, and he's super matter of fact, and they follow through on what they say. And so it's bad when they say, we're going to really crack down, and then they don't crack down at all. Pretty soon you're like, they're not. They say that, but they don't have the balls to pull the trigger. And here it's like, do what you want to do. It's like good parenting. These are the rules. And I think WRL is really, the field. How many cars was it? It was
78
cars.
on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, 27 in our class. I think there was like 10 prototypes and a bunch of these GTO cars, which are basically like GT4.
Yeah, like an M4.
M4 GT4,
like
Cayman
Cup,
GT4.
Cup
another
cars.
Cup,
Some
detuned Cup.
detuned, Cup cars. They rip.
Yeah, I drove the M4 GT4, and it's very serious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I drove a 911 Cup. Hell of a car.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Well, those two guys that finished a half a second apart came by me 2 laps from the end. I didn't know. That would have been nice to know that the leaders are separated by seconds, and they're not giving any Fs now. And so because they caught me right at the end of the straightaway, and the Porsche got by me, but the BMW, patience was not an option at that point, and so they were coming.
I think
hard.
was that class determined by less than a second?
0.5.
0.5.
Yeah,
at the line.
after
a
7 hours.
race.
Yeah. Well, and for amateur racing, that's insane.
That's
really nuts.
super legit. Yeah. And I don't think like for people, I wouldn't go to this series from nothing. I would probably do a Lemons race or a Champ race or an AER race first, and then go to this one because the speeds are higher and the cars are faster. The cars that are passing you are passing in a faster, more aggressive way in the faster classes. So I wouldn't just go to this cold necessarily. Although you can, if you have a comp license, this can be your first ever endurance race. I would probably do a slower race first to like get yourself like, in the vibe. But if you're comfortable driving a race car, this is a fucking fun time. Yeah, it's really fun. And these
And also, by the way, real quick, like you got to drive a hell of a track. I mean, that was that was fun.
It's a track that it's fun and there's parts that really kind of beat you up a lot, and there's other parts that are like pretty chill.
Yeah, I mean,
Back straight is like
there's a lot of
massage.
nuance there. Like I this is the first time I've raced there. I've been on it before, but never really hustling. And there's still time on the table in some of these places. The S is one of the great series of corners in America.
That's
so
very,
good.
very challenging.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the way that worked, I mean, ultimately is you turn into that first one flat, hit the brakes at the first one,
Start
a
brushing the
little
brakes
bit,
as you're passing that first apex.
and you're
yeah.
on the brakes again until you start to turn left again. That's that like 10% brakes
Like right
for
here.
2 seconds.
dabbing.
Yeah. And that's that. If you get that right, it feels real nice.
It's 6 corners back to back to back. to
Yeah,
back.
I never got that right, but it's a lot of fun.
But the bit over the crest, I mean,
It's so
is
cool.
just
That green
where you-
diamond thing, home
that's,
plate.
That's the Tommy Kendall cut line is right there.
that is the best part of the track. Yeah,
I like that.
Did you each have a favorite driving moment? I mean, you got to pass people on the S's. That sounds like that was your
I had a couple where I
to-do
passed.
list.
I set up passes against other 2 series where I said 4 corners ahead. This is where I'm going to go, and I did it. And I was like, I can't believe I just actually made that happen. And so that was like, all right.
I had my stint again. I knew I wasn't going so hot, but there was one BMW, and I don't know the number, but he came up on me, and I kind of picked up my pace, and then for 90 minutes, it was just me and him together.
That's fun.
And it was like he got ahead of me at one point, but then I got him back. I
love
and,
that stuff,
And
yeah.
it was a 90-minute battle, and whoever that driver was, that was me, and that was really fun.
Yeah.
And it was great, and it was like, he would kind of get closer to me in the corners, and I'd get him on the straight a little bit, and then it was cool. And I passed him on that Tato line.
Nice.
Was where I took it back.
Yeah, that is the fucking line, man.
yeah,
through
yeah.
there. It really
It's
is.
a cheat code. Yeah.
Tommy, did you have a moment? Did you have a moment, or just...
It was more a process, getting out the second day and just stringing laps together and watching the timer in the car and trying, because again, hustling down through the S's. At first, some of those guys would come, you'd follow the quick guys to the S's, and you're like, wow, I need to man up here and really, and it's subtle, but it compounds.
Yeah.
And so really getting the confidence where you really are able to hustle it through there without making mistakes. You can hustle it through there, and you're going to make some mistakes, some of which are maybe
that's what
going to
I
be
did
really
often,
consequential. And so, doing it in a smart way. So it's fun to kind of, I'm still not razor sharp and so I've gotten good at saying, listen, I'm almost 60 years old. I haven't been in a car in 11 years, so give myself a little bit of room.
Yeah.
And everyone's expecting you to still be, Senna. And so to push that stuff at bay and just challenge yourself. That racing, it's funny. Racing is a great it's kind of the Steve McQueen line. Racing is life. he meant it differently, but it really is because it's all the stuff happening at once. It's you battling in your brain on pushing yourself and doubts and this, that, and the other. And so it really is fun. There's nothing quite like it that taxes you the same way. And the mistakes hurt and the successes feel good. Like at the airport last night, we were all freaking
I have
drained.
never been so tired.
Yes.
I was so tired.
That could have also been the 7,000 calories of French fries we wolfed down.
Yeah, right.
But satisfied. It's just this great feeling. I woke up this morning and I'm tired and I'm sore, but my mind's like quiet and it's like, that was that. And then that'll get me, that and $6 will get me a latte.
Yeah.
So, but it feels good.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're like, it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, I know, we're just fucking around. We're just fucking around. And then like, we're P2.
No, it gets serious real quick.
It gets serious
That was
real fast.
Saturday night, like Tato was super serious.
Mm-hmm.
We drank a lot of wine, and I don't know, I wasn't feeling all that serious. And then, but I remember it was Zach and Tato came up to me after I was like, because I was like, Matt's running real good. Like, you didn't, because the day before, again, he got in P1 or P2. And it was P7 when I was getting dressed. I was like, all right, it's fine. Whatever. Tato's a wonder kid, and we're normal humans. And then when you were like P2, and they came up to me, and they're like, we really got a shot here. Like, would you mind if Tommy went in? And if there's time at the end, we'll throw you in. And I was like, absolutely, 100%. And then Zach was like, I think Tommy can go the whole time without refueling. I'm going to leave him out. I'm like, totally, that's great. I don't have to take a shower. That's
racecraft.
Yeah.
Racecraft. Yeah, it was great, and we'll get Sergio and Tato back here. Make sure you follow Mateo Siderman on Instagram. By the way,
Spelled like Spider-Man with no P.
yes, S-I, not S-E-I, S-I, just straight S.
Now, speaking of life, we also need to give a shout out. Sergio's uncle is fighting for his life in a burn center in Dallas. So they were heading straight there.
Yeah.
He was in Cancun and had a gas oven on Thanksgiving explode in his face. And so cousin Sean, who's a friend of ours, it's his father. So,
and we love Sean.
So we're thinking about them.
Yeah, that was a crazy story. And of course, there's not laws in Mexico for that kind of thing. So it's like, you can't go sue somebody. It's just like, whoopsie, which is really, really terrible. And on that note, do we have anything from the people of interest? Of course, the patrons we love so much. Patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. Get in the game. Get questions for the live show. Get to watch the live show. Get to watch the show the day it's recorded rather than waiting. Get it to get extra show. Get show without ads. If you like the show, it's more show. Just all around more show. And let's get to them. All right. Okay. Smug Demure. Just cute. New patron, long-time listener. I've been living in China for the last 7 years and saw directly the sudden change between ice to electric and how incredibly fast Chinese cars improved. My only problem with electric cars is they made it possible for everyone to have a sub 5 seconds 0 to 60, and most of the people are not decent enough drivers. Yup. I kind of
Should this be regulated? Is basically the crux of the question.
I don't necessarily think it should be like.
I feel like
know.
I don't think we've seen. I think we were all concerned about this, and also with hypercars and supercars. The question is, have we seen an uptick in accidents with as a result of that? Johnny's shaking his head. I agree with him. I think most people, like we talked about in the last show, if you hand a normal person a 1,000 horsepower EV, they're going to tap the gas and go, whoa, and they're never going to touch it again.
I remember when I started at Motor Trend, we had a C6 ZR1. And a guy who used to be married to a friend of mine was like, you got to let me drive it. It's my fucking dream car. You got to let me drive it. I'm like, okay. So we found this straight-ass road, middle of nowhere, to 4,000 RPM, shifts. 4,000 RPM shifts. 4,000 RPM shifts. Fuck, man, that was the craziest moment of my life. And I'm like... And I wasn't going to be like, no, go to 7 because I shouldn't have been letting him drive. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Wasn't it the famous McLaren F1 story? It's like someone...
Oh, Ralph.
Yeah.
The Ralph story? Yeah. It's very short.
Yeah.
Ralph Lauren's, one of his McLarens wasn't running well. So he did what anyone in 1996 would have done when their McLaren F1 wasn't running well. They plugged in the 14.4 modem to the wall, and the car called Gordon Murray, or whoever the fuck it called in England. And two guys in tweed jackets show up, and they look at the car, they take it for a quick drive and fiddle on a computer for a second, and they go, shift higher. And then they leave and fly back to England. And that's the entire story.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
No, I mean, like, we just drove the new Rivian Quad, and, like, why a Rivian needs 1,000 horsepower, I don't know.
Oh, I know.
Why?
Because it's rad. Why not?
I mean, as long as people are saying that, they're just going to keep making things with more horsepower. I'm happy that most people aren't using it most of the time.
I mean, I think he gets into a bit of, and I keep mentioning this guy, but Thorsten Veblen, who's an economist from Wisconsin, theory that leaves your class. I think people are bummed that horsepower has been democratized. Because if you think about it, like, why should only the ultra wealthy be able to have really, really, really fast cars? They're not inherently better drivers because they're rich. And so Veblen has this thing, theory that leaves your class. The idea is like, okay, electric lights come out, and only wealthy people can afford to get their homes rewired. So a electric light dinner was very romantic and desirable. Then the poors get electric lights, and only the rich can afford to, like, burn the candles. So then a candlelight dinner becomes romantic. So when anybody can go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, suddenly I don't care about that. Well, wait a second. That's all you cared about for years.
Now everyone cares about driver engagement.
Now I need to go deaf.
Handmade.
I need to be deaf.
Yeah.
My car must deafen me.
Real quick, Leonard Meredith. When I drove the 750 as a Coda, I didn't do lap times. In fact, I spent most of my time sideways, and it was a great time. And because of that, it made it harder to drive clean in this little race car. I was like, this is a drastically different experience. Optimus Primate, like all that oversteer on the exits of the hairpins was a great time until Tato told me to stop doing it.
Sure.
To be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
This is what it's about.
yeah. I'm like, I've seen this in the videos. Okay, wait, hang on. Let's do ones that focus on the day. Star in an unreasonably priced car. When is the next race? Sergio said we should talk about dates for next year.
Daytona, I hear.
Daytona?
Daytona.
Bro. Who needs a chef when you've got lollipops? Am I right?
I wasn't going to mention
I'm saying bottle service. I've never driven Daytona. Isn't that a shame?
I shouldn't even
Probably.
talk.
The first time you go up on the
That's
banking and the thing just turns sideways, and one of the biggest epiphanies is on a bank track, forward is up and to the left.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can't see. And so when you're going really fast, I mean, the lower you sit in the seat, and it's Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Who put the window? Who put the window in
The 917 had the window up there,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
And I drove one of Dale Sr.'s. I was the first person besides him to drive his Busch Grand National car. Oh. And it was the weirdest thing. The seat only had a right side on it, and then the left side went over, and the door bars were padded. And he used to that was one of his secrets. He'd get down next to the door, and he'd look through the side window, and that's why he got caught up, I think, in way fewer accidents on those super speedways.
In the documentary, his early cars used like seats out of a van. He didn't like racing seats, and so he had a fucking van seat in his car. It was crazy.
When I was in
way later in time, that car should have had that seat.
I said, I know what you're doing. He goes, shh.
Rick Mears told me this wild story one time when it was Daytona 500, and there was like 2 laps to go, and his neck gave out. And
Indy 500 for Mears.
Sorry, yeah. And but his his head fell to the left. And when he was driving, he couldn't see anything, couldn't see forward, but he could see like the lights. And then he could like get on the radio. They could tell him like if there was someone in front of him or whatever. But he drove like 2 laps looking up through the glass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mears. That guy is my hero. One of.
Yeah.
Soft-spoken,
such
nice
a cool
guy,
right?
but
Right? Yeah.
just man, what a gunslinger.
Oh, the top one was good, Johnny. Or Zach, sorry. Chase the Monte Carlo says, if you were to each start a business making movie cars and selling them, what would you make?
Oh, the Tumbler.
Well, isn't Jay Ryan selling those?
yeah. He says similar to the Tumbler. But.
Yeah. I mean, you'd want to sell.
Well, what do you want to sell and what do you want to drive?
What do you want to drive around?
Right.
Like the Thomas Crown Affair Mustangs are pretty cool. They're like safari, Shelby Mustangs. Those are pretty rad.
Well, I love the Fast and Furious pre-runner Charger. Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I want to drive around.
Sure.
Would anyone buy one? Actually, I bet those would sell pretty well now that I think about it.
Probably could sell a bunch of them.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like the S8 from Ronin, but I mean, you can just
Huge
go get
market
one
for them.
Yeah.
I want the amphibious Esprit from
Yes.
James Bond.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Unfortunately, you know who owns it?
Yeah, we
I don't think
do.
He's giving it up.
Okay. Well,
Elon Musk owns that thing.
does he? We're gonna make them. We're gonna make them.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
you're gonna make them.
We're gonna make them.
Elon
Put
Musk is going to
production.
sue you.
yeah.
Johnny E.V. Gierberman.
There we go.
I understand the Rivian's R1S Gen 2 is the one to have.
Yes.
But if Gen 1s are creeping into the high 40s, is the suspension a deal breaker, or is the car still a nice daily for 50?
It's fine if you're 50. It depends how you drive. So that
What happened with the suspension?
So I think they just started developing the truck first, and they took 15 inches out of the wheelbase, and then had the same suspension pieces.
Oh, yeah.
So the R1S rode worse, but also if you pushed it, sir, are you going to push your car? If you push the car, the rear end steps out, which is a really strange thing to have happen because it just happened. There's no
we
warning.
talked about this.
Yeah.
When I reviewed it, it's essentially the same steering ratio and everything, but they just cut the wheelbase,
Yeah.
and it drives like a car with a cut wheelbase.
And
like,
so-
that's like what the Audi Sport Quattro. You ever drive
Yeah.
Zuckerman's?
Yeah, of
that's
course.
how it drives.
Yeah.
Where like you have way more rear action for the amount of input you do at the front. It's weird.
But it only happens when you're pushing it. Yeah.
But you can feel the motions that lead to what will happen at lower speeds.
Yeah. So for Gen 2, what they did was they actually changed the rear suspension pieces. So they solved it. So look, if you just commute around town, it's totally fine. The Gen 1 is fine. I would say get the Gen 2 just because the potential for what they're going to be able to do with that new chipset is like I'm going to Rivian Autonomy Day on Thursday because they're announcing like their full self-driving and like you'll have that. Like my truck will never get that.
The quad I had, I used the, lane centering, whatever they call it. Their hands-free
whatever.
system, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I drove to Irvine and back with it.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Honestly, pretty good.
And
Yeah.
so RJ, last time I talked to him, and it could be a little bit out of date, but like that same system on my truck uses like 75 to 80% of the processing power available. On the Gen 2, it uses 1% of the processing power. So it's a much better chipset. Yeah.
Wow. Ryan's witty username. Great to meet you guys this weekend. Can I get a review of the Victory Whiskey? I don't remember the name of it. It was something from Texas, but I don't remember.
I'd say everybody who wasn't me and maybe Matt really liked it.
I thought it was fine. I thought for the sip I had of it, it was fine.
Texas whiskey does this weird thing where it's just like, boy, when they were making that, it was too hot out. That's my impression of all Texas whiskey. Is like it's got a harshness.
This is the kind of discernment I was talking about.
Yeah,
It's lost on people like me. So I thought it was pretty inspired. The victory celebration was inside a room. So there was no champagne spraying, but they said rather than giving them cheap champagne and spraying it and wasting, let's give them maybe slightly better whiskey and they drink it. So it's
again,
that makes sense.
The open throttle.
Strategically.
The open throttle dudes were stoked. Yeah. They were so. In fact, Zach, who Tato confirmed is 24. Zach didn't drink a beer. We were hitting Modelo's after the race. Zach's like, I'm waiting for that victory whiskey.
Yeah, I gave him the bottle.
just like the Rolexes at Daytona. That's expensive whiskey.
It's earned the hard.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I hate that part of F1 where Brad Pitt like gives back the Daytona. He's like, I gotta watch. Like, all right, dude, enjoy living in your van. That's a down payment on a house.
You really took that movie way too seriously.
because it gets so many of these little minutiae details right. And the plot of it is so stupid.
I remember when
big things it gets so wrong.
When Ford versus Ferrari came out, I interviewed Mangold, the director, and I brought up a couple things, and he's like, I didn't make this movie for you. You already know all this. I made this for your wife. So when you're like, let's go see a car movie, she won't be like, fuck James Mangold.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah.
I learned in Days of Thunder. I watched Days of Thunder. and I just tore it apart.
Downshift on the straight.
And then for the next several decades, I'd meet young people like, that's the greatest movie of all time. And I'm like, what I know ruined that for me. So I've learned actually to suspend my knowledge and just go in to be entertained. And so, I mean, some of them, like you said, but they got so many good things right.
Here's my problem with that specific scene. IWC is a sponsor. Mm-hmm. He's not the guy living in a fucking van is turning down the $50,000 Rolex from the watch he just won, and what does he say? I got one, and IWC's selling that shit now, dude. That's what That's why I mean, like that is like an unrealistic plot point for a purely commercial fucking reason.
Right.
Or does it show that he just does it for the love of the game?
And the love of this van. You want to come in?
To Tommy's point.
I got candy in here.
To Tommy's point, counterpoint, I took my 8-year-old to see F1 movie, and like at some point during the movie, there's a railing in front of us, and he starts doing like push-ups on the railing, and I'm like, stop fidgeting. And he's like, I want to be like Sonny, because Brad Pitt was doing push-ups, and I'm like, whoa, he's like connecting, so...
I won't ruin it for him, okay? But I think we have maybe a slightly more evolved audience.
I was very much entertained. I suspended disbelief.
I enjoyed the movie a lot. I was surprised.
The only thing, again, I thought was stupid was like, we got to engineer the car to go faster. It's like the old Dan Deerdorf quote, like, well, what they need to do now is score more points than the other team.
Yeah.
The whole building.
You said to me on Saturday, have you tried going faster? It was pretty funny.
Right.
And then I did. And then I did, exactly. And I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. All right. No. Anything else? Oh.
I like 12-inch cylindry.
12-inch cylindry?
That's
really good. That's really good. We get one of those in 2 weeks. Have you driven one of those yet?
I get one of those in January.
Okay, cool. It'll probably be the same one.
And Spike's getting it. We'll have a big party.
I'm excited to try it. Let's see. The 12-inch cylindry works remote and drives 5,000 miles. I want to haul a dog, a mountain bike, and a kid. I love the idea of an LX 470, but a Cayenne might be more fun for $30K. Don't get a cheap Cayenne. I can't tell you enough to not get a cheap Cayenne.
It won't be fun when it breaks.
They're so expensive. Little stuff is expensive in those things.
Yeah. Oh, especially like first gen.
Yeah.
First gen's insanity. Like somebody told me they did the window motors, and like it was just so over-engineered. It was like a 24-hour job to open up the doors, to change the window motors and put them back together.
That was like my Bentley.
Yeah. And yeah. So, but the LX 470 30, I think they're a lot more than that.
I don't know.
I think they're like 60.
I mean, if you that's for like a
LX5?
nice one.
Okay,
the 470s are used. No, they're
okay.
Tony Angelo is selling his right now, and it looks awesome.
I mean, I have no problem with the LX.
Hey, Zach, when are you getting the Dolce Cylindri? When are you getting yours?
When we get mine, we have to split one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a timeshare situation. Yeah.
The royal me.
Oh, here I like this one. Bush did 997. What is your favorite special version of a special version? Right,
okay.
So like like a version within a version.
So C63 Black Series.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Wait. This will take a second though.
Okay. Let me think.
While you think, on Cars and Bids, there are LX 470s as cheap as $8,000.
What?
Well,
and they go up from there.
Get 3.
But yeah, you could get 3 for $30,000. So
the Mercury Villager Nautica edition, I will take.
I mean, like I don't know, like the Diablo SV Monterey edition. I've driven 2 of those now. Those are rad.
Okay, how about Miura SVJ?
Sure. I mean, I haven't driven it.
SVJ was actually special.
Yeah,
I mean, not special, rare. Sorry,
there was 2.
There was 2, and now there's many.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tommy, you got one?
I can't really contribute to this, but I because I haven't driven most of them. But Black Series, I own a C63 Black Series. I went to the CLK press launch, expecting it to be not that much different than an AMG, and came away like, oh my goodness! So
that was the most mind-bending car.
Been in love ever since. So I have a C63.
They're doing manual swaps on them now.
Also,
that may not be for you.
Yeah.
They are.
The Classic Center, there's that red one.
Yeah, I've got a lot of miles on that red one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I love that red one.
Yes.
But you can borrow it. Just,
Oh.
Yeah.
Dan Henderson says, do you ever find it tough to review a car with its MSRP in mind, with some models having so much cash on the hood with incentives? I mean, conversely, this is not in the question, but you could say with other cars that have ADM on the hood.
Sure.
Hard to compare a Rivian with... Rivians are great and have a no BS sales model, but compared to a Lightning with tens and thousands of rebates, it can muddy the water in terms of value. The thing is, like, we don't spend a lot of time at dealerships.
Yeah.
We don't get a car to test and then call around 10 dealerships and go, what's the best deal you can give me on this car, to find out some kind of a market price, if that's what you could. Maybe someone does that.
And I have a friend who has driven both with this model, with this example. He's driven both the Rivian truck and the Lightning, and he got a Lightning because it was like $12,000 on the hood. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, the Rivian's better, but like, first of all, the Lightning was cheaper to start with, and $12,000 off. He's like, he's like, I'll suffer with the Lightning, and he loves it. So.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way for us to work is MSRP. I mean, and although Rivian has a no BS model, like, what's to stop Rivian from changing the price of their car? I mean, they do
the
all the time. And Tesla does it all the time.
And Rivian doesn't change their price, but they just come up with like absurd lease deals.
Yeah,
like you can get a dual motor for like $509 a month, which is like. Good luck getting a Corolla for $509.
Which, by the way, you should, if that's really a deal, you should get that.
They did it. They were really kind of struggling like about 18 months ago. They had this. That's why everyone in LA suddenly got dual motor SUVs, because it was like $509.
Yeah. Also, ADM usually gets more press. It goes around the blogosphere, and when we hear about it, versus cash on the hood doesn't get as much attention.
Yeah. Now is the time to get a Z06, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, wait. Okay, this is a good one. Cost Cobb Tuning. I love a Connecticut reference. I just got a BMW 340i coming from a Toyota 86. Love the speed, space, and cockpit room, but I miss the shifter of the 86, the notchiness. Is it worth chasing a notchier shifter with bushings or a short shift kit, or enjoy the car for what it is, since the BMW forum said the aftermarket will never be as good? Or the BMW will never be as good as the 86. Anyway, to shift your shifter, I have an opinion on this. Do either of you?
I can just say that BMW shifters are rubbery, and it's because it's the same ZF thing that's been in production for 100 years. It's never going to change, and I just think it'll never get better. I think the forums might be right in this instance.
I have driven several aftermarket shifters in BMWs. They've all been straight garbage.
Yeah.
The BMW shifter is rubbery, and absolutely nobody makes anything better, in my opinion. Yeah. I like, occasionally you have a race car that has a super short shift kit in it, which is paired with a very tall lever.
Like Thad's thing?
And that ends up in like a decent place if you're like literally racing. But on the street for your like car, just leave it, man. You is where you is.
Yeah. I remember when Jag had that V6 F-Type for a hot second that had a manual.
That had the BMW gearbox.
It was a ZF. It was the same gearbox.
Yeah.
And I remember I was with Camisa driving around, and I'm like, it's rubbery just like the BMW. And, so
it was exactly
the same gearbox. Yeah.
Not a bad car, by the way.
Not a bad car.
This sob story. Zach and I were just talking about this the other day. Mm-hmm. The number of cars driving around with their lights turned off at night has become alarming and dangerous. With all the safety regulations required for cars now, why aren't manufacturers required to have an auto on for car headlights? I don't know. I mean, because we live in a country that doesn't have laws, just politeness sometimes.
Well, I think,
I guess.
They're all required to have a backup camera now, right, since 2015?
They are, yeah. And DRLs also,
you're
required to have DRLs.
I think this should be on their list. Like, just make the auto setting mandatory on all the cars. And this is definitely a problem in cities, not rural areas. It's dark. Like, you hit something, you remember to turn your lights on. But
going forward, it'll be less and less of a problem as everybody now is the nighttime signature has become like the thing that designers think about so much. Like I took a black home last night, and it was a new 7 Series, which I could see from 4 miles away.
Yeah, terrible.
But you know what? As bad as it looks in the daytime, if you're trying to find one car at LAX at night, man, there it is.
Perfect.
Really worked.
Well, to that end, like I think a lot of issues, people leave their cars in auto. Whenever you valet it, they switch it to off. That's just kind of their standard deal. My wife in her
yeah.
Macan, we were leaving somewhere. We were in separate cars. I said, "Honey, because that was the opposite. The lights were on, but the back lights were
the
dark.
DRLs were on.
Yeah, DRLs
they're
were
mandatory,
on,
but not the actual headlights.
Yeah, so it should be an auto.
Because around here, I do see cars where I don't think they're doing a lot of valet, and they're still driving without their lights on.
Right.
There's not one solution.
That's a nice way to put it.
It would add cost to cars for sure because now you have to have the sensor. But I think it probably would be a good idea. Yeah.
These are the last three.
Okay. Chew Down says, on the East Coast in the winter, we have to add air to our tires because the air density increases with lower temperatures. Why does the opposite not happen in the spring? It's a good question.
Well, tires lose 1 PSI a month.
That's why. It's a good question, but it's also a good question with a very obvious answer. As it gets
but
warmer,
people don't know that. We used to have this guy at Motor Trend, Scott Mortara, who moved to Seattle working for the drive shop. But he was mad at humanity because people wouldn't inflate their tires. He was just so angry at all times. Like, we'd be somewhere and you could visibly see someone's tire was low and he'd just lose his mind. Like, how do they not fill that up? Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, your tire, I have a, bunch of portable air chargers. I just go around once a month.
And by the way, if you've ever pushed cars around, tire pressure matters. If you care about efficiency and fuel mileage and so
try
forth,
pushing a car around.
You'll check your tire pressures.
True.
No, I think it's because when you add air to your tires in the winter, but because you're adding air anyway, you were only thinking about the temperature and not how long it's been since you've probably added air to your tires.
Right.
Explorer, I hardly knew her. Will I try to test drive the GR Corolla again when I scout for the upcoming road and track experience? No. I don't need to. I mean, the last I drove 3 GR Corollas. The last one had spreaders left in the springs.
Oh, yeah.
Like from shipping, like the shipping blocks. This thing rides like shit. But I know what it's supposed to ride like.
They did change it. 25 got way stiffer than 23 and 24.
It was, but I had driven a 25 manual. This was just the auto. And so I was like, are there new settings with the auto? And they're like, well, maybe, but also there's... No, I'm actually, for the next Scout, which I'm doing in January, I'm going to drive a Lucid Gravity.
Nice. Have you driven the Gravity yet?
No. It's supposed to be very nice.
Again, I love Lucid. I like all the people that work there. Blah, blah. They go 97% and quit, and it just get it all the way right. Like I don't know. But yeah, the Gravity is an extremely great handling minivan.
That's fine. I'm a pro minivan. You guys know it.
Yeah, you are. But I mean, the Rivian. My truck's a fast truck, and basically about the same horsepower. And it was humbled by the Gravity. Humbled.
It's also, I'm getting a Grand Touring, which has supposedly a 450-mile range. I think in real world, it's probably in the middle threes. Fine.
No, it's probably like 410, 420, honestly. Those Lucids go far.
What I love about a Lucid is it's 300 miles at 90 miles an hour. That I really like.
Yeah.
That's a good, because I don't need to go 450.
The Gravity motor, the Gravity's heavier than the Air, obviously, but the Gravity motors are more efficient than the Air motors. I didn't do a range test. I had it, but I mean, it just never even got to a point where I needed to charge it, and we were running around Angeles Crest and filming and everything.
Well, I'm going to drive it 1,000 miles across the desert.
Yeah,
so
you'll be fine.
Be totally fine.
You'll love it. Yeah, you'll love it.
Possibly go wrong.
You won't turn on because the key's a piece of shit.
Oh, so they didn't fix that.
Or the trunk won't open like Jason Finsky's.
According to my Deep Throat Inside Lucid, they just bought again, you walk up to the car and it opens up because it knows you have the key on you. And then you get in the car and it won't turn on because there's no key detected. So what I would say is get the app and do phone as key, and that should be fine.
Speaking of minivans, quick review, rented a Kia Carnival. The Kia of minivans. It was the first minivan I've used in 6 years to not have an automatic power trunk.
I stood next to Johnny at the back of it for a while, and Johnny's like, "There has to be."
No, I stood there staring at it. It hurts for a minute, going, "What the fuck?"
So Tommy, that's how car journalists think.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I think you can just close it. Yeah,
I was like, no way.
No, because it wasn't that I'm too lazy to close it.
Yeah, no,
it was. There has to be a button. I'm just not finding it, and then I'm going to tell people it has a manual thing, and someone's going to go, "Hey, asshole,
Yeah, it's down
the
here."
button's right here." You know, it's inside the A on the Kia badge or whatever. Just no one told you.
Matt, they're going to say, "Hey, asshole," anyways, no matter what you do. So
No, but they gave me a van with 300 miles on it. Brand new van, as nice as it could be, and not a bad conveyance.
It worked.
Dude, Carnivals, compared to all other minivans, are luxury items.
It had kind of a nice intake noise when you got on it.
it did.
Like it wasn't
Yes, it
bad. The steer, if you tried to go more than 5/10, this thing would push into a ditch immediately. But
why are you doing that in a minivan?
Yeah, I don't know. The only reason I bring it up even at all is because I got it from Hertz at Austin, which has the AI scanners now.
Oh,
What's this?
Yeah. They don't check your car in anymore. You drive through a little fucking AI damage scanning ring of fire.
No.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah, this shit's been outsourced.
But it's problematic.
It's incredibly problematic.
But that's also, I mean, one of my favorite moments from
That's
Lemons.
it. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Look at that.
One of my favorite moments from Lemons was we used to really race our rental cars.
Yes.
Yeah. We would because we would get to a track on Thursday, and we got to check out the track, and
Well, the Thursday, I'm glad I didn't go through the trouble because we were supposed to have a practice day at Coda on Thursday, and just quali was Friday, but it was pissing rain all day Thursday, so they canceled practice effectively and moved it all to Friday. But at first I was like, can I bring any car on track during practice? If so, I'll fly to Dallas and get a fucking McLaren.
Yeah.
And have a good time for the day. And they said, no, you can't. It turns out that wasn't
right.
true.
Yeah.
But we've run vans in the HPD for races like a million
There was
times.
a Wrangler Rubicon.
Yes.
Dude, a guy was on the practice day in a Wrangler.
Yeah.
on Coda.
I followed through the S's. I thought I clicked into a video game. I'm like, what is going
That's like
on
Cruising
here?
USA.
Yes.
But so one time
With the Jeep or the Testarossa, they're the same speed.
One time after a long meal, shall we say, we had a Chrysler 300, I want to say, and went over a parking thing. And I don't know what we ripped off, but a lot of fluids came out of the belly of the car. But we were right near the airport, so we had 2 rental cars. So I'll leave their name out. One of the Lemons people pulled in, and then I pulled the PT Cruiser right behind it, and touched the bumper. There's no way to see anything. Yeah, we just, bye.
See you later.
And so that sucks.
So yeah, we didn't even have to do. You just leave it, and I did not get dinged. Although we did forget to stop and fill it up for gas, and that cost me like $50.
Well, to catch Johnny up real quick, the early reports on this tech were that one, it was finding problems that the human eye couldn't. It was like picking a ding that might have been there.
Yeah.
And then the second was it would basically text people and say, the charge is going to be $448, but if you pay it right now, it's $239.
What?
Yeah.
But if you can test it, it might be $448. So it's very.
Well, by the way,
not
they
great.
don't scan it after the last Hertz employee drives it and gives it to
point.
you. So
No,
you got to.
they scan it on your way out.
Oh, they do.
I got scanned on the way out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay,
I got
that's
scanned
good.
on the way
Before
out. I
and
got
after
scanned on the way
they're
back in.
rented. All right,
But dude,
let's
imagine
ban AI.
What's worse? What's worse is go through the scanner with a rental car with no miles on it, or with a rental car with like 25K on it.
No miles.
I think no miles is scarier, right?
Oh, no.
You think it's better?
Dude, 25K, there's going to be so many things damaged. And
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't me.
And, if this whole AI thing's supposed to save money, the processing fee for the repair, this is for a different case, was $125 plus $65 administrative fee. So you're
What? By the way, what's a $250 repair?
Probably a scratch. Probably touch up.
they
thing
probably
or
just
something.
mark it in the
They
computer.
probably
and not
don't
notice
do
it.
anything.
Yeah.
They don't do a goddamn thing,
They
right,
just
or they
charge
just
you
make up
for
the number,
life.
yeah.
I will share a car rental damage story. I think the statute of limitations has expired.
Here we go.
My crew chief, this is from the 80s. Dan Banks, legend Dan Banks. Back in the day, it was Lime Rock, and there was one of these back roads that we used to all take. And this was before I was even with him, and they went sailing through this, and they missed it, and they went off into the grass through someone's yard. The next yard was about 6 feet lower, and they launched and they landed.
Nice.
They landed on top of this wood pile, and so basically now the headrests are hitting the roof in this Cadillac, and so they get it out of the wood pile, and they take it back to the track. They put it floor jack on the seat with some boards, and they jacked there was no scratches on the outside of the car.
Hell yeah.
They just bent the floor.
They somehow they bent it back-ish.
Excellent.
And returned it. No charge.
Amazing.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That warms my heart.
So that Days of Thunder, that was the only part of that movie I said, that is real.
Exactly.
That is 100% real.
Race, done. Yeah.
And that's why don't buy used rental cars. Don't buy used press cars.
The last and only other time I won a sanctioned race or was part of a team that won a sanctioned race was at NCM in Kentucky. And I had been overcharged by the rental car company for a Nissan Versa, which was just a tragic car.
Yes,
cheapest available, and so I had been overcharged, and I saw my thing, and I was annoyed, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to get my money's worth." And I ran about 60 laps of NCM. I fully smoked the CVT gearbox. I fully smoked the brakes, and it was, but the paint was ace, no problem.
Right.
Tagged
That's all that
no
matters.
cones, was ace. It was
That's all
great.
that matters.
It was all that matters.
Fine.
Yeah, it was good. I got my $500 Nissan.
Is somebody going to be like, "Oh, the Versa's not driving as well as it should"? It's like, no, fuel's in spec. Shift's terrible. Check. Bad brakes. Check.
Well, thanks for coming down today, guys. It was a good Monday following a great Sunday. And an extra special thank you to Sergio and Mateo for having us, and for the Open Throttle guys doing a great job. For those who don't understand, like, they hear us talking about this race and they're like, "Well, I don't have a race car. What do I do?" Mm-hmm. So there's like 10 different companies that own the race cars and that run the race cars,
or more than 10,
however many for each series. Pretty much almost all the cars in the race, the vast majority of them, are operated by teams who sell seats in a race, just like you would get an entry in an HPDE track day with your car. Basically, you pay the track day company to do their track day. Well, you pay these guys, and they prep the race car. They show up, they run the car, they fuel the car.
Breakfast, lunch.
They make you snacks. They make you snacks, and if God forbid the car breaks or you crash it, they fucking go all night to fix it, get you back in the race, and you pay a few $1,000 for a weekend, and it's done. You show up and you race, and if you do it by yourself, like, you're going to be in a car with people you might not know, or if you do it with buddies, you could rent a whole car. Yeah, which I recommend if you can do that.
And there are pitfalls, in terms of if you pay for the weekend and someone gets in it before you and crashes it, you don't get in it. There's different owners deal with it differently. The reality is, some of them that are really small, the money's spent getting there. So it sucks. Like, someone that have deeper pockets, they might say, even they might eat it because they feel bad for you and so forth. So there's the entire, it's like Airbnb. There's a gradient from the cheapest, and it literally goes all the way almost to Formula One, basically.
Yeah.
So in terms of what you get, and it does, you do well to talk to someone in the space, because some people are known as being more shysters than others, and other ones are more upstanding, and some of them look good and a lot of polish, but they don't run as well beneath the surface. So, but don't let that stop you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, sometimes like a not very good looking race car can be very fast, and sometimes a very shiny one could be run by a bunch of dick bags, and the car's not very fast.
But Open Throttle,
these guys are great.
Totally
Mike
recommend
and,
it. Mike Gorman,
his team, and Zach, and Chris, and
Charlie.
Well,
Chris retired. Chris is moving on to Career Cup.
Oh yeah, it was his last race. We got him a W on his last race. I forgot about that. That's
happy.
cool. Yeah. Everyone else on that team who was cool and whose names I unfortunately can't remember because my brain only has so much space. But lovely group of guys. And gals. Excellent time.
Super good time.
Thank you to our patrons for asking good questions today, and everyone else who for playing along. And this is going to go back to the Sergio garage. I don't think it deserves to live here, but I wanted to have it for the show.
So Splurgio, he's getting us all one.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Of course.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
Which is pretty magnanimous.
That's funny.
In my Roush contract, it was written that I do not get the trophies. So I used to try to sneak some out, off the podium. And when I won the Rolex in GT with Paul Newman, in 95.
Yeah.
They didn't get.
He told this story Saturday night.
Hell
You
of a
missed
start
it.
to a story there.
They,
Yeah.
they didn't give
Bury the
Rolexes to
lead.
class winners then, and
Just overall?
just overall.
Oh,
so
shit.
even with my 2 class wins there, I don't have a
fucking watch?
Nope. And so, and then
Normally, I wouldn't. I think you should be able to buy a Daytona and have it engraved yourself.
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah.
Nobody would question it.
True. Well, I guess I know tell the rest of the story. So with Paul, I knew I wasn't getting a trophy, and I knew we weren't getting watches. And then Roush ended up making Paul a replica trophy, but not for me. And then
That's not-
I was with him.
lame.
I was with him with Paul a few months later, and he comes down. He said, "Can you give me a ride to the track?" I said, "Sure." He gets in the car. He has brand new Daytona, and I'm like, I get it. He's the reason everyone wants one, literally. But that watch actually just sold at auction for the old one sold for the crazy money back in the day.
But the second one,
one sold
the
that's engraved that's Rolex Winter 95.
Yeah.
And the other half of that story is when he passed, I thought of approaching Joanne and saying, "Hey, I feel weird about this," but I said, "Can I make a donation to the camps and buy the trophy and the watch?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that was before the other watch sold for $17 million. And so
She's like, yeah, big donation.
yeah. And so once that happened, I'm like, I guess that window's closed.
That sucks. Oh, I was
What
hoping
did
you
that
said
one
Paul
sell
would
for?
buy you a watch.
Well, the funny thing is, I guarantee you, I didn't. He was super private on the being sick. I guarantee you, if I'd said, when you're done with that, I'd love to have that.
He probably would've.
He took the other one off his wrist and gave it to the daughter's boyfriend. That's how.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he would have wanted me to have those things. But anyway.
Oh man, that's
The story, the fact that I can just close my eyes and remember doing all this stuff with him. is worth more.
But you think he bought that for himself, or you think someone bought it for him?
I think Rolex gave him that.
You think
say.
Rolex
I'm pretty
gave
sure
it to
Rolex
him and
gave
not
it.
you? That's cold.
I'm pretty sure.
When did they
Pretty
change
sure.
it for class winners? 'Cause I know.
I think like the year after that. Because
96?
Yeah. Then they gave him to the champions and the Rolex winner. So
Right,
with that
right,
math,
right.
I should, because I have 5 IMSA championships and
Oh,
2
dude, you
Rolex
should be,
winners.
like, rolling
Yeah,
in
I
these
should be
things.
rolling it, but I don't.
Somebody cough one up.
Well,
someone out
and
there.
then the final
Rolex, if
insult
you're listening.
to injury is for the first 2 seasons of my career, I spent all my prize money in 86 and 87 buying Rolex subs and GMTs for my Firehawk team, my GTU team, and then my GTU team the next year. I've bought 12 Rolexes as gifts to my team, and so.
Somebody, we need to go
Yeah.
fund me.
GoFundMe for Tommy.
Tommy's Daytona.
Yeah. Tommy needs a Daytona.
Oh, wow.
I love all of that. And then if you flash back 48 hours, Mateo's like, "Oh, so what do I want you to do here in this
Yeah,
time?"
yeah.
No, I got a
what we're looking
picture.
for.
I got,
Oh my God.
Here, I'll send you a picture, Zach.
I called Hannah that night and I was like, it is really weird. And I was like, I don't know if if TK is like being a good sport. Or is really trying to learn or whatever. But I was like, if I am this dude and like I don't care how fast you are, 21-year-old, I'm tempted to be like, hey kid.
Tato may not know really. Honestly,
Well.
he might be like, this is my dad's buddy.
Well, for sure. And because I was like, that's Jim Farley. He's the CEO of Ford. By the way, he's Chris Farley's cousin. And Tato goes, who's Chris Farley? At which point I had to go have a talk with Sergio about his parenting.
Yeah. However, as I explained to Matt owns shoes older than Tato.
Yeah.
So
Well, the reality is,
So look, here he is with a Fanta.
not drinking wine.
The motherfucker bought a 24-pack of Fanta for 3 days in Austin. That's how you know he's 21.
he was drinking grape and orange. Grape and orange.
Alternated.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, the minute you think you have nothing to learn, it ends.
totally.
No, and also
1000%.
TK had to suffer the mild indignity of attending the rookies meeting, which everybody up there who recognized him was like, "The fuck you doing?"
That's really funny.
Well, then the officials, after the meeting, the Price thing yesterday, the 2 officials says we were cracking up when we slammed you with that track limit thing. We're like, what?
Oh, it was great. Thanks for coming by, boys.
You bet. Super fun.
So good.
Thank you, Sergio. Thank you, Tato, and all the crew. That was fucking great. Let's do it again next year. Take home another trophy, yeah?
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays indeed. Now it is December. I'll see you guys Thursday. Bye.